Hey there, I'm Kate Shumate with the Christian Working Woman, and today we're talking about what really matters. This topic is one that hits close to home for me, and I'm guessing I'm not alone. Today I want to talk to you about celebrating your weaknesses. Ugh, I don't know about you, but even saying that, celebrating your weaknesses, it makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't like to acknowledge my shortcomings. I don't like to admit that I'm weak, but the truth is my life is full of many areas that I'm just not strong enough. Sometimes I'm just faking it till I make it, or I'm just pretending that I've got stuff figured out, but I don't. And often pride keeps me from admitting this. I recently traveled to Kenya to serve with a ministry, and before I left, I prayed this really naive, dangerous prayer. I said, Father, show me what it means when you said, my grace is all you need. My power is made perfect in your weakness. I'm sure you can only imagine how well that went. When we pray things like this, I think the Lord is eager to show up and answer them in ways we're not expecting. Boy, I was not ready for what came my way because this trip didn't go as planned at all. Almost everything we had arranged in advance changed or it didn't even happen, down to the people who could join me for the trip itself. What was supposed to be full of so much joy, friendship, and kingdom work turned into an anxious and fear-filled disaster. I went from feeling totally capable and ready to dive into anything that came my way to sleeping 3 hours a night and barely making it through each day. Careful what you pray for, right? I was at the absolute end of myself, still trying to serve and do the work we had come to do, but the truth was I felt like I had nothing to give. My anxiety had soared to heights I've never experienced, and I felt totally and completely weak. Sometime during the trip, I remembered that prayer that I had prayed. Show me what your grace looks like. Show me what it looks like for your power to be perfect in my weakness. Oh, what a prayer. This was exactly what the Lord did. He gave me what I needed each day, and usually not an ounce more. He spoke through me. He gave me the energy when I just felt like falling into bed. His grace was sufficient for me. His power was perfect in my weakest moments. And while I really do not want to do that trip again, I'm so grateful for this experience. And here's the thing, you don't have to travel to another country to experience this. I'm sure you do every day. I do. I experience Lord's power and His grace in my life. Maybe you feel strong these days, but for me, I'm daily reminded of my weaknesses. I'm reminded that I can do nothing without the Lord, and that's okay. Actually, that's how you and I were made. Our weaknesses remind us of who we're dependent on. They remind us of who God is and who we're not. Weaknesses are certainly things we can try to improve upon and grow in, but I think what matters most is remembering the God who sustains us and who gives us grace that is more than enough. So often we strive and struggle to prove ourselves. I know I have sat in many meetings with teammates or bosses, and I've done whatever I can to mask the intimidation I feel or the lack of ideas I have for a problem. Our world and our workplaces don't love weaknesses. They don't really celebrate weaknesses. But as followers of Jesus, we have to think of them differently. In humility, we should celebrate them. In 2 Corinthians 12, Paul writes that to keep him from becoming proud, he was given a thorn in the flesh, a tormentor from Satan. He pleaded with the Lord many times to take it away, but instead the Lord reminded him of His grace and His power, that it was enough. And in the end, Paul writes, "This is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I'm weak, then I'm strong." Our weaknesses should point us to Christ, and it should point others to Him too. So, are you weak? I think the answer is probably yes, because we all are. We are all dependent on our Maker and Sustainer, and this is so good. So today, I challenge you to acknowledge your weaknesses. I dare you to even celebrate them and to invite the Lord into each one, trusting that His grace is all you need. His power is made perfect in your weakness.